So yeah, first of all, let me just say I thought the film was fucking fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Did you go last night?
Yeah, I was there last
good,
night.
good.
It's I think we're in this place right now where comedy sequels, particularly ones that come a long time after the original, are sort of a scary proposition because you have stuff like
Yeah.
Anchorman 2, Zoolander 2, Dumb and Dumber 2, and they all kind of sucked. Were you cognizant of that when writing the script and working on this, like making sure you didn't fall into that same trap?
Yeah, we very much were. I mean, it was kind of a lot of pressure. You don't want to, screw up the first one. And so the idea was to not retread as many jokes and to try to have fresh new things. And I think that was on the front, kind of in front of our minds as we were going.
Yeah, I mean, we're losing sleep over it now. I mean, I think we all feel really good about the movie, but it's inevitably still the thing that, like, we don't want to get hit with, when the movie comes out. Is, because what it does is it then kind of tarnishes the first one, and that would be terrible. So yeah, it's. I feel good about it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm relaxed about making sure that's not going to.
The reaction's been good so far.
It has been great. It
So-
has, yeah.
How many cities have you guys been to on the tour so far?
LA, San Francisco, Seattle.
6.
Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, but we also went to Vancouver.
But now with the movie.
Now with the movie, we went to Indianapolis to do WWE.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of the beginning of a crazy stretch.
Yeah. And I remember you from last night. We talked about your mustache.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't think that was me.
Is there another guy with a mustache like that?
Possibly. I don't think we did. But,
Okay,
I
okay,
I did
fair
have a couple
enough.
of beers, so.
What would you say about his mustache? Or
That it was good.
doppelganger?
That it was very
okay.
good. Yeah.
Now I remember.
My wife feels otherwise.
Does she not want you to have a mustache?
No, not at all.
That's what I was telling these kids. Like, I grew one for fun one time, and my wife then wouldn't kiss me. Like, some people like it, some wives don't mind it, but some do.
Yeah, she's
Like
like,
ours.
every day she's like, "You're scruffy. Get rid of that thing." I'm
Right.
like, no. So
Exactly.
that's the standoff. Right?
That's marriage right there.
Yeah, great compromise.
The great compromise.
Great compromise.
Mine, I better not shave it off. So, just be like, so you guys, I mean, when you mention Broken Lizard, most people are like, oh, it's this crazy humor, crazy stuff. And the past week I was binging a lot of your films to sort of prep up for it. And I noticed this common thread that I hadn't seen before. So I watched Club Dread, Puddle Cruisers,
Yeah.
and Super Troopers 1 and 2. And each of these have like a romantic subplot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a really sweet romantic story in each one of them. And I think each one has a different character going down that plot. So are you guys like romantics at heart or somebody
Oh,
on
yeah,
the Flow of
definitely.
Scotia?
If it can make us cry, it's going in the movie.
You know, softies.
We're all
Yeah.
sensitive, sensitive fellas. But also, we'd hate for our audience to only be made up of guys, and so we want to make sure that there's enough something in it for everyone.
It was also fun to work with like good actresses. That's something that obviously we're dudes in a room writing this script, but then you get to work with people like Marisa Coughlan or Brittany Daniel or Emmanuel Shrieky, and they're great. They're great people, and it's just great to hang out with them. And I think that's always something we have in our mind. We need to have somebody like that in each movie.
And we try to, we're aware that oftentimes in these movies the romantic plot line can be the dull part of the movie. And it's because, I think sometimes they're a little colored by numbers where it's like, okay, the girl's just going to fall for the guy and then they hook up. So we try to be creative.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really want to do it unless there's something funny about it.
Yeah, and that definitely shows in this new one.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to give anything away, but
Sure.
There's some nice, nice.
Did you
Nice
see
stuff.
the twist coming?
We're not talking about
No, we're not.
twists.
I won't say anything about it, but I was curious if you saw any twist.
Well, I think we should talk about
Nothing?
it.
We can cut out
It's a straight.
spoilers.
This movie, there's nothing unexpected in this.
Yeah,
movie.
nothing. We straightforward,
It's very linear.
come
So
right
let's
at
cut
you.
to silence right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just-
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny now too because it's
nothing.
like we have some plot twists in the movie, and we've been laughing about it because now we're like maybe we had too many plot twists. Let's not do so many plot twists in the next one. But then plot twists are what makes the world go round,
They're
right?
fun. They're fun to write.
Sure.
But it was fun, and a lot of your films are you're poking at a lot of these tropes, and so having multiple twists, I think, helps that. It's part of it. Almost seems like part of your formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a laugh.
certainly-
It's a way to get an extra
Like
laugh.
in Beer Fest.
And yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
in Beer Fest where we, what we wanted was a sports movie through a beer glass, and but that meant then like a crushingly horrific, insurmountable end of Act 2 tragedy. And I think it led us down a road of doing something so absurd, but like people love that about it. Like that, the death of landfill like is one of the things
we
that
talk
people talk
Yes.
to me about.
Spoiler alert.
The most.
Well, because you get when you're working with a studio. We were working with not Warner Brothers, but earlier we had that script with another studio. The notes you get can sometimes just be frustrating. That they're like, we need a lower moment at the end of Act 2, and you're like, okay, the team breaks up, and they're like, we need it to be lower, and you're like, okay, fuck, we keep trying to create these low moments, and finally you're just frustrated. You're like, let's kill the guy. Let's kill him.
You want a low point? You want
low
Act 2
point?
low
We'll give you a
point?
low point.
Yeah.
You
But-
kill this guy.
Yeah, but then we're gonna bring back his twin brother, and he's heard all about these guys. so
Yeah, and negate
Yeah.
every single, everything about it.
When we
So
first screened it, though, Kevin's family came and saw it, and his uncle walked out because he thought that Kevin actually his character was killed
Ah,
off.
he's dead. No reason to watch anymore.
it's such
He walked.
a Heffernanian
Yeah.
behavior.
He missed the,
like,
he missed the whole
all right.
third act.
Okay, good.
He missed
Yeah.
the whole third act.
Yeah.
Walked out.
But that was, and I remember one test screening, somebody screamed, no, when he died, which was funny.
Yeah.
So I know you guys write as a team, but how does that actually manifest in terms of dividing up the work? Are you guys all sitting there with laptops, like hammering out jokes and things like that, or is it more like a round table discussion and then like one person goes off and actually does the work?
It's a lot of this kind of stuff. A lot of riffing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of it, like earlier drafts will have just general sessions, everybody's writing down a ton of ideas, and then each guy goes off and writes 15 pages of the first draft, we'll outline it, and then the next pass, everybody gives their notes, and then each guy's responsible for doing their own section. And then you get to the third draft, and the point man, who we call the bitch, then he has to take over that job, because now everything's got to become uniform and weave together, and so, and then that person stays the point man.
Which is the worst job in Hollywood.
It's terrible because you're writing the script, and you are still like writing new jokes that you haven't pitched to the guys or anything, because that's just what you do when you write the script. You're like, oh, well, now I'm in control of marrying these two sections. I think here's a funny joke that I could do that. It's incredibly hard work, and then you go and 4 fucking assholes will just rip your stuff apart.
What's this? This wasn't the original
Yeah.
thing. What's
Yeah.
this?
And even
Like
your
sitting.
your role in the room during riff sessions is, imagine a room full of guys all like cracking jokes, trying to make each other laugh, and you're like, and you're trying to like make sure you're getting it all
You're
down,
recording it all.
and it's yeah.
It's the worst job. It's the worst job.
I think it was last night you had asked a question and you mentioned that none of the characters are cast. Well, almost never.
Yeah.
The characters are cast ahead of time. But again, another common theme I noticed: you're kind of the cultural chameleon. Every film you're playing something. You
It's
transform
true.
yourself.
He's our De Niro. He's our De Niro.
Ethnic, multi-ethnic.
Yeah, I mean, I got to play Juan Castillo, which was fun because I was, making a movie in a Speedo the entire time, and that I find to be a success, a sign of success. And then Beer Fest, yeah, I mean, Beer Fest was more of like taking one for the team. That we permed my hair, and then I had
You love that. Love.
male pattern baldness for,
What was involved with that look? Was it a perm or?
It was a perm. I mean, we looked at Sean Penn and Carlito's Way, and we're like, that's who this character is going to be. And yeah, permed the hair, and then every day they would shave. It's 3 inches of male pattern baldness, and
And it looked good until the weekend where you didn't have somebody giving you this shave, because then you could go sometimes like 3 days, and so then 3 days of hair growth just here, and then long frizzy there.
Yeah.
That was the only time when I was like, I don't want to go near this guy.
yeah, no, I mean, I had a 5 o'clock shadow on my head, and it was weird. Like we there was one time in our hotel, I got in the elevator. I just worked out. And so, like, my afro was already wilting a little bit. And it was the Embassy Suites where they had free margaritas every day at like 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And I got in the elevator, and these 2 meatheads with, like, margaritas got in the elevator with me, and they were on either side of me. And I could just feel them looking at my head and looking at each other and looking at my head and looking at each other. To these guys' credit, they almost made it. They almost made it the entire way. Like, they got off the floor below me. The doors opened, they got off, the doors were shutting, and right at the last second, they turned to each other and burst out laughing, and then the doors shut. And I was like, wait a second.
It's not the real me.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was,
But didn't you also find that you had some women attracted to you during that phase?
well, so the funny thing, so I was single, and I was freshly single. My girlfriend and I, we had just broken up, although she's in the movie as Landfill's wife, and Landfill 2's wife.
Right.
so I was like, okay, hey, look at this. I'm single. It's a studio movie. I'm a writer, star of this thing. I'm gonna lay it down. And but then I had this thing, and no girls would talk to me. And then I wore it on my sleeve. I'd be like, hey, you know, I don't really look like this. And they're like, loser. Like, it's already a terrible approach. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go this whole shoot without, you know, hooking up. And you know, all my great plans are for naught. And I was like, I'm not gonna talk to girls. I'm not gonna play any of the social politics. I'm gonna get to know my friends. You know?
Hang out with
Like,
me.
Yeah, they're good guys. These guys
Yeah,
are
yeah.
funny. But what happened was that, like, immediately once I adopted that attitude, things started to change. And these girls actually said to me, they're like, you know, we saw you in this bar and you look ridiculous, but yet you were like kind of blowing off women and like just hanging out with your buddies
Having a
and
great
telling
time.
jokes.
Yeah.
And it made you seem really confident. And it actually, because you looked a certain way, it actually made you seem like the most confident guy we had ever met. And we just are curious and we want to
We don't experience that.
be with you.
Want
And
to
it was like,
touch your afro.
it was a little kooky. Like that character, Finkelstein, got a little crazy. And I've never been able to duplicate that
Yeah.
before or since, but you know.
Well, that's the thing is, okay, let's say we make Podfest. How much further, like, what would his hair loss
He's back
situation
here.
be?
He's back here.
Right, is he down to like, just...
He may
Yeah,
just
that
go,
is
you
kind
know,
of like a
bald,
Star Wars
just go
character.
Moby. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd gladly do. I mean, listen, Finkelstein, he changed my life.
Really?
Well, you know, no, truthfully, I mean,
I'm honest, guys. So serious.
well, I tapped into this thing, which is just like, it's like being true to yourself. Like, just enjoy yourself and don't, you know, don't put on airs for other people. And that's, you know, you're very happy that way. Anyway, so.
The Lessons of Finkelstein. You could write a little, like a little coffee table book.
Yeah, so, you know, what are you going to do? I mean,
And
There's
like
times
Coconut
you just gotta
Pizza,
say,
right?
what are you gonna do?
yeah.
Be happy all the time. I'll eat the worms, like coconut pizzas. Yeah.
That's
Our
right.
movies really are
Lessons to live by.
freeing.
It's a lot of lessons you guys.
Yeah, and I got my 11-year-old son learning all those lessons. Petrified about what's gonna happen. Yeah.
I had a in Beer Fest. I do a thing called a strikeout. It's a bong hit and then a shot and a chug of beer and then blow out the smoke out, which is something we did in college. And I guess a lot of people started doing it, doing videos, you know, different kinds of strikeouts. You know, maybe with like 3 beers, whatever it was. I was at Madison Square Garden one time, and some people recognized me and wanted to take a picture, and then a couple other people recognized me because they were like, "Who's that down there?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the guy from those movies." And pretty soon there were like 8 people around me, and the usher made them form a line. And then like a 55-year-old woman got at the end of that line. And my friend and I were like, now who is this? What? Because everybody else is a dude with a baseball hat on backwards, and now we've got this school marm at the end of the line. And she very politely waited, made her approach, and then she walked up to me, and when it was her turn, she slapped me across the face and said, "You're the reason why my son dropped out of college," and walked away. And we were like, wow, that's... my friend was
Thank
like,
you.
Yeah, okay. I think it all starts at home, but whatever.
I like to think, yeah.
So wrapping up, last night you guys talked about how when you were trying to get funding for the movie, the studio didn't necessarily believe that there was still an audience for Super Troopers, and that's
Yeah.
why you did the crowdfunding campaign. Was there ever any trepidation from you guys thinking like maybe they're right, maybe there is no audience, or was that always like you guys knew that we were all out here still?
No, we're still
Terrified.
terrified of
Still
that.
is,
I mean,
yeah,
talk
we'll
to
see
us
on
on
420,
on the Monday after 420. I mean, you know, it's hard. Like we've had all these years of we go out and people, that's what they say. Wow, when are you going to make Super Troopers 2? So just it felt to us like clearly people are clamoring, but you don't know if you're just like, well, if that's necessarily a representative of a big demographic or not. So
Well, our reps always said to us, like, we're more famous outside of the industry than inside of the industry.
yeah.
You know, that was always kind of like the feeling that, you know, we go out into the world and there are people, you know, studios try to quantify your success and they do it in certain ways. And one of the metrics is box office opening weekend and whatever it is. And we've never had that. We have this very kind of hard to pin down thing where, you know, we'll go to a college town and everyone will go crazy. But if you're walking down a supermarket in LA, nobody knows who you are, you know. So we've always had that where I felt like we know our fans are out there. We just got to let the people who make the decisions know the fans are out there. That's why crowdfunding was so perfect for us. You know?
And it's why, just in general, the benefit of the internet, you know, the things are so different. Things have changed so fast from the time even that we made, let's say, Beer Fest, the last studio movie that we made, that the idea of now of like, okay, you can release a trailer, you can release a teaser, or release any kind of material, and immediately get back a metrics. I mean, you know, there's a lot of scary shit to like what can be done on Facebook and what people are doing with data, from our point of view, the best thing that can happen to us, because that's when, obviously with the crowdfunding, but even I think more so after that, when we could put material out, put like a picture of the slate from day one, put that on Facebook and have 5 million people like it within like 48 hours, like that mechanism didn't exist when we were making movies before. So it's really been helpful to sort of get that attitude change, because yeah, like the decision makers in Hollywood are all people who don't want to lose their fucking jobs. So they have to have that ability to quantify so they can justify decisions that they make. And for a long time, that was really slippery with us. It was like, okay, yeah, they sold a lot of DVDs. I don't know if I can justify my job if I get called to the carpet for greenlighting a Broken Lizard movie. And this has made it, fortunately, I think, easier for people to now feel secure in getting behind us in terms of Hollywood. We'll see.
Well, I think we're out of time, but I wish you guys a ton of success. I love
Thanks,
the movie.
man.
I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to
Talking to
see
you
it
guys.
opening
Good,
weekend.
good. I
Please.
appreciate it, man.
Just
Appreciate
bring
it.
200 of your best friends, and yeah, we'll be good.
I will do what I can.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Thanks,
Yeah.
Can we
Devin.
grab some
Thanks, guys.
pictures real
Thanks.
quick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Good talking to you, man.
Nice to meet you, whoever you are.
Out there, virtual world.
R2D2.